You keep telling yourself it's fine, that you've always been this way, that you don't need people like everyone else seems to. But late at night, when the noise stops, there's this ache you can't quite name, a feeling that something vital is missing. Welcome back to Evolving the Narrative. Today we're going to walk through why you've become someone with no friends, why your brain might be working against you, and what that means for your path forward in life. Later, I'll give you a simple practice you can try this week that doesn't require you to become someone you're not. With that, let's get into the video. Let's start at the beginning of the story. First, something triggers you, like an alarm. You see other people laughing in groups, and you feel something twist inside. Not jealousy exactly, more like feeling left out or fundamentally different. You watch them make plans, trade inside jokes, text back and forth with an ease that feels almost alien, and you wonder what they have that you're missing. So maybe you try to belong. Maybe you've shown up to things, said the right words, smiled at the right moments. But every time, there's this invisible wall between you and everyone else, like you're performing connection instead of feeling it. And afterward, when you're alone again, the silence is so loud, it's almost deafening. You replay conversations in your head. That moment you said something and no one responded. The text you sent that got left unread. The invitations that never came or stop coming after a while. And your mind does what it always does. It fills in the blanks. They think I'm weird. I said something wrong. I'm too much, or maybe not enough. They tolerate me, but they don't actually want me there. So you stop trying as hard. You pull back before anyone can reject you first. You tell yourself you prefer being alone anyway, that you're just independent or introverted or too busy or simply a Sigma male. But late at night, when the defenses come down, you know the truth. You're lonely, and you're terrified that loneliness is proof of something fundamentally wrong with you. Those feelings are tough, and you're not weird for enjoying your solitude while also feeling lonely at times. You are human, after all. But here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. Your nervous system is triggering an alarm in your brain meant to keep you safe when connection has felt unsafe or scarce. For long enough, your brain starts treating every social moment like a threat assessment. A delayed text becomes evidence of rejection. A neutral face becomes judgment. Someone not laughing at your joke becomes proof that you don't belong. This isn't paranoia. It's your threat detector doing exactly what it was built to do. Scan for danger to keep you safe. Whether that danger is real or perceived does not matter. But when that alarm runs constantly, it begins to solidify a schema in your brain. You become hyper-aware of every micro-signal, every tiny shift in tone or expression, and your accuracy crashes. You start seeing rejection where there's only distraction, hostility where there's only tiredness. In simple terms, when you encounter evidence of that narrative, it reinforces it and becomes even stronger. The saddest part? That guardedness you carry to protect yourself, the careful distance, the wall you've built, is exactly what keeps people from getting close. They sense something shut down in you, and they back away. Not because you're unlikable, but because you feel unreachable. Humans can pick up on those subtleties, and that confirms the story your brain was already telling you. The truth is that you're not broken. You're careful. Your mind learned that connection equals risk, and it's trying to save you from getting hurt again. But safety and belonging can't exist in the same space when the alarm is this loud. It gets in the way. There's another layer most people never realize. Loneliness doesn't just make you anxious. It changes how rewarding socializing feels in your brain. Brain scans show that when lonely people look at pleasant social scenes or experience trust, a key reward area, the ventral striatum, shows less activity. Simply put, hanging out with people stops feeling good. Your brain isn't tagging connection as something to move toward. It's tagging it as boring, risky, or draining. So you stay home, you scroll, you retreat. Not because you don't want friends, but because reaching out feels like work, not comfort. And when interactions do happen, you might come across as cold or distant. Not because you are, but because your internal alarm is screaming that this could hurt and that you should get away. Here's the unfortunate paradox. The longer you're alone, the harder it gets to connect, even though the need never goes away. Studies tracking people over time found that loneliness erodes the very traits that help build relationships: extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, while ramping up neuroticism. You become less able to initiate, less able to read the room, less able to keep showing up. Your personality starts to organize around isolation, even if that's not who you really are, and social skills begin to atrophy. That paradox also has an effect on your body. Sleep gets worse. Stress hormones stay elevated. You might drink more, exercise less, and reach for comfort foods. Then, that tired, wired feeling makes you more likely to snap at people or cancel plans. More conflicts follow. More proof that relationships are too hard to deal with. What started as feeling left out slowly becomes a world that truly appears more hostile. The loop tightens, and history repeats itself. But here's what you need to hear. You're not less intelligent, less attractive, or less capable than people who have friends. Broad research confirms this. The difference isn't what you lack. It's that loneliness suppresses the social abilities you already have by flooding you with self-doubt and threat-focused thinking. You might be warm and funny in one context, then seem aloof in another, depending on whether the alarm is quiet or screaming. You're not two people. You're one person whose mind keeps trying to protect you from a danger that isn't always there. And what you believe about yourself becomes the bedrock for how you navigate life, whether it is true or not. And this next part is something we all forget, but it matters. Belonging isn't a nice-to-have or a personality preference. Researchers describe it as a fundamental human motivation, as basic as food or shelter. Your brain is hardwired to seek frequent, positive interactions within stable relationships where both people care about each other's welfare. Quick chats with strangers or occasional group events feel nice, but they don't satisfy the deeper need if there's no ongoing bond underneath. When that need goes unmet, the costs show up everywhere. People who are chronically lonely face higher rates of illness, weaker immune function, elevated stress hormones, and shorter lifespans. Mental health suffers too. More anxiety, more depression, more emotional disorders. These patterns hold even after controlling for practical support, like money or help with chores. The bond itself, the emotional closeness, is what your body is asking for. This is why casual advice like, just put yourself out there, feels so hollow. Your nervous system isn't looking for more exposure to random people. It's looking for safety. for someone who sees you and stays. Not to mention the previous points we've discussed that make it hard to put yourself out there. But here's the truth underneath all of it. You don't need dozens of people. Sure, it can be fun for some people, but it's not a necessity for everyone. Research on daily life shows that most meaningful interaction happens with just a handful of friends or partners, usually around 6 people. Once those core bonds exist, adding more acquaintances doesn't do much for your well-being. When one of those bonds breaks, a breakup, a move, a falling out, other connections can fill some of the gap. New friendships after loss often lower health risks and ease the ache. But certain relationships, like family or long-term partners, carry a weight that's harder to replace. Their absence can feel uniquely devastating, even when you're surrounded by others. This is why your pain is real, why it shows up in your sleep, your immune system, your ability to focus. Your body is responding to a need that hasn't been met, and it's treating that absence the way it would treat any other form of deprivation, by screaming at you. You're not being dramatic. You're not too sensitive. You're responding exactly as a human should when something fundamental is missing. Yet, for those who are friendless, there can be a lot of barriers keeping you from actually finding true friends. As with most things, it won't be solved overnight, but by making small, intentional changes, you can get there, if you want to. Next, let's look at some solutions. Well, I promised you something practical. Here it is. You don't need to transform into a raving extrovert or force yourself into rooms that feel unsafe. Instead, focus on small, intentional shifts that retrain your brain to expect connection instead of threat and allow yourself to engage with others more authentically. These are 3 no-friend shifts you can use whenever you feel ready for change. Step 1. Name the thought, not your worth. The next time you catch yourself thinking, "I have no friends, something is wrong with me," stop. Put one hand on your chest. Take 3 slow breaths. Then say this, out loud or silently. "This is an alarm from my brain, not proof that I'm broken." Label it as old wiring trying to protect you. Then add, "This is my old identity. I'm choosing a new identity of acceptance, self-love, and social curiosity." By shifting the thoughts, you can begin to quiet that alarm that keeps you panicked and stressed. Step 2. Catch the threat story and test it. Think of one recent moment you assumed people didn't like you, a message you sent that got no reply, a quiet room when no one spoke to you, an invitation that never came. Write down the story your brain told you about what it meant. Now write one neutral or kind alternative. Maybe they were overwhelmed. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe it had nothing to do with you at all. By reframing situations, you begin to move out of the loop and rewrite the story that keeps you stuck. Step 3. Build one micro-connection daily. Pick a low-pressure place, an online community, a class, a cafe, a co-worker you see regularly, even a family member you've kept at arm's length. Show up with one goal. Focus on them instead of how you're coming across. Ask one curious question about their world. What are they working on? What's been on their mind? Then listen to the answer like it matters. If you can't feel into that curiosity fully, don't worry. Keep practicing, and it will become easier. Treat each small interaction as a rep. You're retraining your mind to expect warmth instead of rejection. Small steps lead to big wins. Intentional change and self-awareness kickstart the process of evolution. The biggest change occurs in two places: the story you tell yourself about other people and the reluctance to engage. Next steps could include therapy or joining meetups and groups that interest you, so you can meet new people. These steps can help if you want to be more social and make more friends. Of course, there's nothing wrong with enjoying your own company as well. The choice is yours. Here's what I'd like you to remember. Feeling like you have no friends doesn't mean you're unlovable. It means your nervous system has been stuck in a loop that wasn't designed for the world you're living in now. The same wiring that kept your ancestors alive is now working overtime, seeing danger where there's only possibility. But loops can be interrupted, panic can be quieted, and the version of you that's warm, curious, and capable of connection is still there. It's been waiting underneath layers of stuff all this time. You're not too late, and you're not the exception. The path forward doesn't require you to become someone else. It only asks that you start small, stay gentle with yourself, and remember that belonging isn't a reward for fixing yourself. It's a need you've always deserved to have met. I believe you can do it. Don't you? Thank you for joining me on this exploration into the psychology of loneliness and belonging. If this resonated, please share why good friends are so hard to come by in the comments below. And subscribe to get weekly psychology content designed to help you transform your life. Until next time.